Hey YouTube, welcome back to Griffin Grills. I am Griffin. It's been a while. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and click on the bell icon below. That'll give you an update every time that I upload content. Today we're going to be doing a comparison between a 45-day dry aged ribeye and one that I purchased this morning at the grocery store. And we're going to be comparing this with a blind taste test. I have some volunteers slash victims lined up for this later. So we're going to go ahead and take a look down. Go ahead and share this video on your social media, Facebook and Instagram. And also in the description below, I'll list links for the Griffin Grills Facebook page and the Griffin Grills Instagram. So go ahead and hit those up because I'll load content on those every once in a while too. Alright, so here's our two steaks that we have today. The first one you can see is just a regular ribeye bought from the store this morning. It's about 1.25 inches thick. We're going to trim our dry aged up to match up with about the same size as this one. We may have to trim a little bit off of this end just to get it, a blind comparison. You can't tell the difference from one another. So this one's just going to get garlic, salt, pepper. It's going to be on the grill. This one, however, is our dry aged steak, and the bag that it's in is not a regular Food Saver bag. This is very important to note. This is a bag made specially for dry aging, so you want to make sure that you're not using a regular Ziploc bag. It has to be able to let the air out but nothing else in, and it's kind of loose on it. It's not like a Ziploc bag, but you can see the dark color of this dry age compared to our store-bought. So I'm hoping, from everything I've read, the dry aged beef has a more concentrated flavor, a richer flavor. So I'm hoping that's going to translate well after we cook. We do have the edging here that we're going to trim off because you don't eat this part. It's too hard. And then I am going to lob some of the fat off on this end just to get it more symmetrical with this steak. So I'm going to go ahead and get this out of the bag. We'll get it trimmed up, and then we'll get them both seasoned and out on the grill. Alright, so here we are with our ribeyes after I trimmed them up. This is going to be our dry aged ribeye, and for the purpose of the video, this is going to be steak number 1. This is our store-bought ribeye, and for the purpose of the video, it's going to be ribeye number 2. They're about the same thickness. I tried to cut them about the same size so they would cook evenly. My brother-in-law did mention that the dry-aged meat cooks a little faster than store-bought. So we're going to probe this one and get it up to the temp before we sear. And then hopefully by the time this one reaches temp, this one won't be too far behind. But we're going to start off with the basic GSP method for these seasoning. That's going to be salt, garlic, and pepper. Alright, so here we are outside. We've got our probe in the dry aged ribeye. The grill is about 400 degrees. We'll adjust that temperature if we have to. We're just going to set our steaks over here about 3 inches or so from my slow and sear. That way we don't get too much heat transferred over. Because we actually are going to reverse sear these. Basically, we're going to get them up to about 115 internal temperature, and then move it directly over heat to finish the cooking, so we can shoot right around that 135 range to get a nice medium steak. So we're going to go ahead and let the lid down now, and we'll check back on these things, get them cooking. Alright, so here we are out here for the sear. We're going to do our dry aged ribeye first, and we just want to set it on the hot grill grate for 2 minutes. 1 minute flip or rotate, the other minute rotate, and we're going to get those crosshatch marks in there. Alright, so here we are with our test victims. We have Dusty over here, Bo, and Joe. So we're going to test piece number 2. So down on your plate you'll see the little mark to the side for 2. Go ahead and taste piece 2 first. Any thoughts on that piece, gentlemen? Must be pretty good. They're quiet.
Yeah.
It's very tender.
It is tender.
It's tender.
It's got a good flavor to it.
Good flavor.
Yeah.
A little smoky.
Yeah.
Smoky.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Good flavor.
All right. So now
It's a good one.
we're gonna taste piece number 1.
This one tastes more smoky than the last one.
Number 1 is smokier than number 2.
Yeah.
I think one was juicier.
1 was
One tastes a
juicier.
little juicier to me. And to you? Yeah, it was a little more smoky too.
How about you, Joe? You must really like it because you're quiet.
It was a little more tender than the last one. Yeah.
It was more tender. So we got smokier, juicier, and tender on piece number 1.
Yep.
Okay. If you had to choose a clear winner, who's all for piece number 2? Nobody. Piece number 1.
Yeah, I'll go piece number 1.
Well, it looks like 1 is the clear choice. So now, gentlemen, I will let you in on what the difference was. Piece number 2 I bought this morning at the grocery store. So it was a fresh ribeye. Garlic, salt, and pepper was the only seasonings that was used on both of them. The difference with piece number 1, have you ever heard of a dry aging process?
I have not.
So with the dry aging process, basically it's set in a refrigerator, a climate controlled refrigerator, in a special bag designed to let air out but keep bacteria from getting in. And it sits for a number of days. You can do it for 5 days, 15 days. This ribeye, number 2 or 1 that you picked, all 3 of you, has been dry aged for 45 days.
No, that's all.
But it did have a dramatic impact on the taste compared to number 2, did it
Yeah,
not?
it really, and it was seasoned with the same thing.
Same ingredients, same seasoning, same cooker,
There's a lot
same
more
everything.
tender.
It was definitely different.
It was more tender?
It was juicier and more tender.
So if y'all had your preference to pick either a fresh steak or a dry aged steak, y'all would prefer the dry aged.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so.
All right. Well, gentlemen, I want to thank you for your participation
Thank you.
today.
Thank you.
So much.
Thanks.